Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be working on a new painting. Earlier at school I tried sketching out my reference photo and I really liked how it turned out. This is the reference photo I wanted to go with. I found it on Pinterest and I thought it was really nice. I never really worked with portraits or never painted them before, so this was definitely something a little out of my comfort zone, but at the same time, that emotion and that kind of genre of painting I've done a lot, so I thought this would be a cool new challenge to be able to represent in my painting. As you can see, I already have a pencil sketch already out, but I am doing it again, number one, for extra practice, and number two, to try it with watercolor to understand how I want this painting to go when I actually start my painting on canvas. Now I'm lightly erasing my sketch so it won't show through when I work with watercolor. I pre-mixed some colors that I thought I might be using for this portrait. I decided to start off with the darker shades and then work myself up to the lighter shades. I didn't want just the portrait in this painting. I wanted this ghost-like figure behind the person, kind of looking over their shoulder. I kind of wanted this painting to make it look like that tired is emotionless, numb, but then there's this thing behind them kind of controlling that feeling. It kind of feels like as if they're not controlling their own emotions and feelings. And I also wanted to include kind of that feeling of feeling drained and empty. And I'm making some paint swatches so I can match my colors when I'm working on the canvas. I have finished my little reference watercolor picture and I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it just so I can have it near me when I start working on canvas. I am now just setting up my workspace. They say third time is the charm. I am sketching out my reference photo yet again, but this time on a larger scale onto my real canvas. Of course, after I am done with the sketch, I erased it a little bit and I am now going with the undercolor / base for my painting so it is not as intimidating painting on a white blank canvas. I haven't gotten a real primer or a underbase, so I still use watercolor, and right now I'm just rubbing it off with a towel, but honestly for me, watercolor works perfectly fine. Time to mix some colors. I wanted to start off with the hardest part, which was the face, and kind of match the colors that I made earlier for my watercolor, but of course make it a little darker because now we're using acrylic paint instead of watercolor. I tried painting a portrait before as just a fun practice and it never went well. This time I started off with the dark, of course, but as I started painting the skin tone, I realized it was completely off. So I mixed on some, and right here, this is the more improved skin tone, which is so much better than the first one. And then I'm just working my way to the highlights and blending everything in to make sure it fits perfectly and the colors match well. this is the first section I finished, which is all the skin tones. This took me about 2 hours, and then I decided to do the hair off camera because I realized this was taking forever. Later that night, I decided to work on the clothing. Now, my reference photo was more of this knit sweater, grandma sweater kind of, but I decided to go with a simple red sweater. This is the next morning, and the night before I worked on it in a total of about 5 hours, but today's a new day and I wanted to start on the ghost. And this is a reference photo I took for the sweater of the painting because it was a little different from the reference photo, and I'm just adding some creases to make the sweater look more realistic. Now the background was pretty empty, so I decided to try something a little different and work with watercolor again. I decided to use a straw and kind of blow on the watercolor to make it move and give it some motion. This was something kind of fun to do. It kind of reminded me of preschool art, and it was really fun to do. But this was kind of the end of my painting. The result is at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me.